It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Penn, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Real quick before we get to top 3 stories, that Walker Kessler cut. I forgot to tell you about this yesterday. I almost lost my mind because I was so worried. He had the blood coming down his face with about 10 seconds to go.
2 days ago, but yeah.
But I was going to tell you about it yesterday. With about 10 seconds to go, if they would have stopped the game to clean that up,
Yeah, right.
I would have absolutely lost my mind.
Yeah.
So I want to thank the officials for just being like, okay,
Just finish it up.
finish it.
Run
We've
the
got
clock.
10 seconds to go.
Go wipe your mouth off. I was a little annoyed post-game. He was walking around high-fiving everybody, hugging everybody from the other team. No one just like, hey, man, you've got blood all over your face. I don't want to hug you. Here's a towel. Wipe your face off, and I'll dap you up.
But of all the, coaches' timeouts with 90 seconds to go, up 20, and the reviews or the challenges that are just
I'm with you.
Unbelievable wastes of time. The fact that they let time run out. Can you imagine 10 seconds? They're like, up,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
Got to get this stopped.
Sub them out.
All right. Top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, the Utah Hockey Club. They beat Minnesota last night 6-1. And let me tell you, Clayton Keller must love playing against the Wild.
Pass all the way back to Sergachev on the blue line. Keller shoots, tipped on goal, rebound, they score! Clayton Keller piles on here in the third, and it's 5-1. And Keller has himself a 3-point night.
Ended up with 5 points, 4 assists, 1 goal on a beautiful backhand. This was the most dominant game, I think, of the year so far for the Utah Hockey Club against a good Wild team. They're beat up right now a little bit, but there's a good Minnesota Wild team that's probably going to make the playoffs. Looks pretty safe to make the playoffs. And the Clubbies have now won 6 of 8. They've won 3 straight, and they look to be getting better as all the bodies have returned to the ice. Everyone seems to be gelling very nicely.
The hottest team in the league, Ben. And what the other 2 teams lost yesterday, right? Vancouver and Calgary.
Yeah, they both lost.
I'm curious to see or get further familiar with exactly how hard it is to make up or give ground in this playoff push. So, love to see some playoff hockey in Salt Lake. That'd be super cool.
One of the hard parts is that the hockey club has played a game more than both Vancouver and Calgary. So yes, while they are only 2 points back or 1 point back in that case, they're ahead a game. So you're kind of playing with a little bit of fake money. These other teams have a chance to make up those points more easily than you do to overcome them. But fun game. Thursday playing great. Obviously, Keller played as well as I've seen, and the GM of Minnesota was the guy who put together the the 4 Nations USA team that snubbed Clayton Keller. So there's some belief that was
He has 9 total points against the Wild this season.
Yeah, there's some belief that
he's taking it to him.
He's taking it to him on purpose. But he was awesome, and that's what you need from your best player, and that's what he's going to have to be down the stretch. Dylan Gunther still had the big goal. Cooley's still fabulous. Sergachev was great last night. But you're going to need your best player to step up and have some of these historic performances. And, 5 points was a career high for him. Obviously, if it's a career high for him, then probably a career high or a franchise high as it was. First 5-point player in Utah Hockey Club history. So I'm excited to see how they continue to play, but they're on a hot streak right now.
That always, the revenge thing always reminds me of that scene in Major League where Charlie Sheen thinks he gets cut. He goes into the manager's office and he says, hey, I'm going to catch on somewhere else. And every time I pitch against you, I'm going to And then he throws the ball against the thing. And Lou Brown goes, that's great. Except I didn't cut you. I think somebody is messing with you. But that feeling that, I think a lot of players get that, And probably a lot of general managers don't blame players for feeling that way, I'm guessing.
Yeah, of course. And it's probably a decent motivator. These guys are always looking for an edge. So good for Clayton to have one.
If Rudy were going to play tonight against the Jazz, I'm sure he'd love to have a good game.
Yep.
Even though Maybe he'd rather have a good game. Well, no. I was about to say against Dallas, like against Dennis Lindsey, but that wasn't who traded him, so never mind.
No, yeah.
All right, what's next?
Number 2, big weekend of college basketball. It seems like BYU has locked themselves into the tournament. We'll see what happens with Utah State. And, of course, we know Utah is out at this point.
Yeah, I guess the question is how well can BYU play to improve their standings or their seeding when it comes to the NCAA tournament? And some of that may just come down to what they do in the Big 12 tournament. But, of course, you're trying to get high enough in the Big 12 that you get the double bye in the first 2 rounds to advance further. That would certainly be helpful.
Except for that seeding is kind of one of those things they use all the formulas and stuff. It might actually negate some of the recency bias, honestly. So, games like these, because they matter to the silly computer rankings, actually matter. Like, BYU should absolutely be trying to take it to West Virginia at home. Because they use that stuff. I don't know if people like it. I mean, they have to sort so many teams. You've got to use something. But I think BYU's in. I think their seeding is going to be based on their win total and who exactly they beat. So who they beat in the conference tournament might be important. But it's certainly important not to gaff one at home against West Virginia.
Don't lose to West Virginia. You know Iowa State's going to be very tough on the road on Tuesday. And then you close up on Saturday, a week from tomorrow, against Utah. And you certainly don't want some random emotional game to come and bite you. And then, yes, you end up with a very tough first-round matchup in the Big 12 tournament that you didn't get a bye for because you lost a game, you booted a game that you shouldn't have, and you get eliminated there, and then you find yourself in an 8-9 matchup. And even if you win, you're playing, Auburn in the second round. Like, that's what you want to avoid. You want to certainly win a game, which BYU has struggled to do recently in the NCAA tournament. You'd love to get past the first weekend.
And for the Utes playing Arizona State, I hope a Ute fan goes to the game and gives me a report. I want to know just how red Bobby Hurley turns at some point during the game.
Yeah, sure. Send photos.
That guy is a crazy person. I want to know if it's like tomato red, like he's about to have a stroke or something.
You think Utah has a basketball coach by Monday?
No.
That's probably a little quick, but I think that's got to be the goal. I mean, he's not going to coach this year.
No, I mean, why the goal? You can't hire another college coach until the season's over. You can't hire, like, if you really were going after, say, Richard Pitino.
I don't think they are. That's the thing. I think it's just Alex Jensen. I think that's it. I think that's the whole goal. I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's the plan. I think that is who's going to be the next head coach. And it's just a matter of, like, getting everything signed, the ink drying. But
yeah, I don't know.
I would love to see big investments in the Utah basketball program. BYU has had huge investments in their program, and it has paid off for them. I would love to see something similar for the Utes, but we'll see. Not like BYU. I don't expect that, but
I don't know.
A reinvigoration of that program.
I'm not gonna hold my breath. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know. No, I don't think they make a hire by Monday. I mean, is it truly inevitable that it's Alex Jensen? I don't know. Why hasn't it happened already then?
Yeah, I mean, some of that might just be timing on the road, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe Alex isn't that interested.
Like, ink drying is just a cliche. I'm sure Utah would love to announce it as soon as possible, or at the very least leak it.
Yeah.
Have Bartle dropping a Bartle bomb out there that Alex is going to take the job.
No Bartles today, by the way. No Bartle bombs today. Not from us. We had him on the show earlier this week.
So if it's truly inevitable, I mean, we'd know, right?
I don't know. We didn't know about Witt until, and that was totally in Witt's control. But Utah's done pretty well to keep things private.
Yeah, that was like Witt truly didn't know. I believe that. Mark Harlan needs a win. He needs this news to get out.
Which is why I think it's going to be Alex Jensen. And I think they will figure out a way to get it done, hell or high water. But maybe I'm wrong. And if so, and they don't win next year, Harlan's probably out.
Well, whoever.
Yeah.
If whoever doesn't win, Harlan's going to be out. That's his problem.
They might give Alex Jensen a year.
Oh, no, they'll give Alex Jensen multiple years. In fact, they'll probably give Harlan multiple years to see if it will get figured out. Next year, I don't think they have to win next year.
No, nor would you expect them to.
No. All right. And then Utah State has Colorado State? The Aggies need the 2 seed, so they got to go win.
Yep, they do.
All right.
Number 3, in case you missed it, the Jazz, they host the Timberwolves tonight. Anthony Edwards will not be playing. He is suspended.
Is it official he's suspended? I know you get your 16th, you're supposed to be suspended. You have an appeals process. I don't think he will win that appeal. So most likely he's out. And I have not seen an updated injury report yet. The Timberwolves, as of the last time I checked, had not released theirs. Let's see if it's out yet. No, they have not submitted it yet.
I'm guessing they're not going to play anybody.
I would think so. Second night of a back-to-back. But again, nobody played last night. That's why they lost to the Lakers. I mean, not nobody, but you didn't get Rudy Gobert or Julius Randle, and I don't know what their time frame is. Monday, this is last Monday, Julius Randle was upgraded to questionable. So I think he's been close. But, if you bring him back, does that necessarily mean they beat the Jazz? I don't think so.
Well, there are players for the Jazz who are playing well. So, and if they play, the Jazz absolutely have a chance to win against a fully loaded Minnesota team, honestly. But if you don't play those guys, then maybe it's a different story. But if Walker Kessler plays, the Jazz have a chance to win. I think he's that impactful right now.
Yeah, if John Collins plays, if Lowry plays against a Timberwolves team that's missing that many pieces, they're beatable. The Timberwolves just aren't that good. That's why they're in the play-in right now. They just haven't been that good all year. So if they miss players, they're really not very good.
And they need to move off Julius Randle before Rudy gets too old, or move off Rudy.
And I don't think they can do either.
You think Julius Randle's now the old maid?
He's going to pick up his contract option next year for $31 million. No one else is paying him. There's no free agency money, A, and nobody wants him, B. It's a really tough spot to be in. I think most teams would rather have John Collins right now than Julius Randle.
I'd believe that. I think Bradley Beal is still more.
Yeah, he's still
unmovable.
the worst player, worst contract in the NBA, and he has multiple years. But Julius is not that far behind other than the fact that he's expiring next year.
Way to go, Knicks.
But the Timberwolves are 2-4 in their last 6. They're a mess.
They're currently projected the number 17 pick for all those watching to see if they slip into the lottery.
Yeah. And again, like we've said, the difference between 14 and 17 is not a big deal. The fact that you're getting a middle of the first round pick from the Timberwolves after trading Rudy, which was their all-in move to try and win a championship, shows exactly how disastrous that trade has been. Not that Rudy hasn't been very good. It didn't fix the team the way they thought.
Are we going to see Joe Ingles hang 30 on his old squad?
30 seconds? Or 30 points?
30 points!
Oh, I'll be surprised if he gets 30 seconds.
30 steps taken down the
30
court.
steps. Yeah, right. He exists solely between the tops of the three-point line. He does not certainly doesn't break the foul line on either side of the ball.
He didn't play last night, meaning he's going to be fresh.
He's going to be fresh. He's ready to go.
We see the Joe Ingles game.
And they're still talented. Dante DiVincenzo's back. Jaden McDaniel's a very good player. No, he hasn't been great. But they've got guys. This won't be a Jazz blowout, I don't think. But I bet it's a competitive game.
I hope Joe gets up like at least 18 to 20 shots.
Okay. Like his last hurrah.
Like the last gasp, like Kobe Bryant's last game.
Randy Quaid in Independence Day.
I think Kobe took 60 shots in his last game, though. It's a lot.
Mamba mentality. Joe's got to have that Mamba mentality.
He might.
The death rattle.
It's more of a death rattle.
I think that's what we're going to see tonight. Stick it to him. Charlie Sheen style.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned. We'll get to more coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Ute insider Steve Bartle. Alex Jensen was in the mix when Craig got hired. In fact, I know that he was offered the job and decided to stay put with the Utah Jazz at that point. I got to imagine Mark Harlan will make that phone call again.
He will be at the top of the list. Alex Jensen, he is the dream hire, given the fact that he's beloved as a player with what he accomplished here under Rick Majerus. Kevin Young at BYU, he sort of paved a path for coaches in that same sort of position. I think for Utah, this is an opportunity to potentially, hit a home run, a hire if you're able to bring him in. That will help kind of turn the vibes around with Utah basketball.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.